You know, we like to be topical in Dead Cinema. It's a show we gotta have the most fun with. Ash Wednesday, Passion of the Christ, Groundhog Day, Run Lola Run. Shit, we even put out Daredevil's Director's Cut because Netflix is putting their second season out. And so, when we're doing Two Cents episode 40 last week, I just knew that this was going to be a perfect match. We covered this story about this North Carolinian man, James Mayer, who was pulled over and subsequently arrested, and he had a warrant out for his arrest, mind you, because he had 14 years of late fees for a VHS copy of Freddy Got Fingered that he never returned. And so, in shooting the shit in the headlines, it dawned on me, or at least I remembered, that Steve had somehow never seen Tom Green's groundbreaking masterpiece of comedy, and I knew that had to be amended. Welcome to Dead Cinema. I'm Brian Gillis.
And I'm Steven Maltmanex.
Like most people, we love going to the theater and catching latest releases. However, it can sadly put a big dent in your wallet.
Fortunately, living in the digital age makes the viewing possibilities endless from the comforts of home.
Many of these films that you can see right from your couch, we're ashamed to say we miss, despite labeling ourselves cinephiles.
So join us as one or both of us cross off a title from our list of shame.
It can be an all-time essential classic,
or an underrated piece of cinema that's worth giving a shot.
Hell, it might just be some trashy film we want the other's opinion on. So sit tight and join us as we pay off our debts, $1 at a time.
Look, I found a treasure.
Let's hop on a roll. Are you imbecile?
Oh no, a treasure! It went into that underwater cave!
He thinks different.
You want to just barge into a restaurant and expect someone to give you a TV show?
I don't know,
Yeah?
He talks different.
I can walk backwards fast as you can. Another backwards man, the backwards man. I can walk backwards fast as you can.
What? God name are you doing?
And he acts different.
No, not my plant. Give me my plant.
But that's only because he is.
I wasn't expecting that.
So I wouldn't exactly call this payback for the Star Wars Holiday Special.
You can call it that. That's fair. It's fair.
I think this is a better movie than that show. Well, it's not. That's not a movie. That special is. Because before we even start the actual review, you laughed at least once during this thing, right?
God. Let me see. How can I put this? How can I describe my
Stop
experience?
trying to look good for our audience, okay?
My
You
experience watching
definitely
the movie.
laughed. There's no way you cannot not laugh.
The moment that this movie opens, it's just what it's of. I forgot his name. What is it, Gordy? Or yeah, he's like going through
Tom
his,
Green.
Yeah, Tom Green is like going through his pictures, doing some random voiceovers, and there's some pretty good drawings, but
I'm
he's
X-ray
just,
cat.
yeah, it's just all that, and he's just jumping around making random segues into shit that makes no sense. It's pretty much it seems like that's a good way to open the movie and tell you exactly what you're in for, because then you see him being an obnoxious little piece of shit, just rubbing in the fact that he has a car to his brother.
You haven't answered my question.
So, all right, he can be kind of an obnoxious retard. Then you get to Horsecock.
You haven't got to my question.
You got,
haven't
well,
answered me.
this is going to be a very long-winded answer.
No, I want to know, did you laugh during this movie? Did you laugh during these 95 minutes or so?
No.
Yes.
No.
Bullshit.
Not once.
How do
Now,
you not laugh
I
at
might have
least once?
smiled a little bit at one moment.
But
and that was
he grabs a horse's dick
and that's the
twice.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, and an elephant stick, and I just felt like my IQ was lowering as I was watching this. Like I really did. It's like that at a certain point it was like I'm in the Clockwork Orange chair. Like just struggling to watch the whole thing. And then it doesn't stop there. It just keeps going to the point where I had to shut the movie off halfway. I felt so stupid just as I kept watching it. I could not do this in one sitting. I just needed to go outside and calm down. I had to stop it halfway. Usually I sit through everything in one sitting, but I had to pause and go to the other room for like a little bit. Like I just needed time to gel and do something else.
This movie is not that.
So then I went back and I watched the rest of the movie, and oh God, where do I start? I mean,
stop.
Where
I had
do I?
two roommates walk into my room while I was watching it today.
Uh-huh.
And watch for I don't know how long, and they both laughed at least twice. in those short segments they had. So either your humor isn't in touch with this film,
I banged my
or
head
you
against the
wanted to
wall
hate
when
it so
no,
much
I didn't want to
that you
hate
couldn't
it.
enjoy
I
it.
had no idea how obnoxious as fuck this
It's
was
Tom
going to be.
Green.
He had his best 15 minutes as the Chad in Charlie's Angels. That's it.
He
Like there
got
he
that
was
role
actually
because of
funny.
this movie. Like he was
That was
for
before this movie, I thought.
like maybe a
Charlie's
couple
Angels,
of
yeah.
days. Like he was dating Drew Barrymore. They were married for like a couple of months. That's why she's in this
Uh-huh.
movie. Like he had it wasn't a moment of fame. Like he's still famous. The reason we are doing this episode, as you can hear in the soft open, is because of that Freddy got fingered $200 bail thing that happened the other weekend.
Which that
Okay.
man deserves a presidential pardon for that fee.
Well, Tom Green
Wow.
went and he released him himself, and we probably got to meet the man. But he was had a pretty successful show in Canada. Went to MTV. He was super famous. He was He was in Eminem music videos. He like hosted MTV Music Awards. He had to have one of his testicles removed because he got cancer, and they televised that on MTV. Like he was big before Jackass happened. That was like their greatest moment of the 21st century was finding Tom Green. And it just so happened that 20th Century Fox was stupid enough, not Viacom, mind you, but Fox was stupid enough to let him write and direct a movie.
I can't say it was necessarily a stupid movie. I mean, is this movie that terrible? Like,
I don't think so.
I
I
to
enjoyed it.
answer the question, like it's consistently made. Like it's always just it's not like it's an uneven mess. Like it's exactly the type of movie that you expect it to be. As soon as you fucking see him just stroking that horse cock, that's what it's going to be for the next 80 minutes.
Look at me, Daddy. I'm a farmer. I'm a
Yeah.
farmer.
Yeah, it's just that I don't particularly get any enjoyment of sitting through him swinging around babies still attached to umbilical cords. Like it's the
Gotta
type of broad
remember,
humor that feels way too desperate for a lot. Like, see, I don't like obnoxious comedy that much. It's
yeah,
like
because you're
it's like
weird.
Dane Cook's stand up, It's just like it's begging for a laugh, doing weird shit, and
You ever
it
done
just
stand-up
doesn't.
comedy, Steve? Have you ever stood up on front of a stage with lights on you and people in the crowd expecting you to make them laugh? Have you ever done that?
No, I have not. I mean, the word
Then you
most
don't understand.
the
It's
most
really
I-
fucking
the
hard.
most I have done is be that one kid in like fifth grade that stands in front of a
Doesn't
class
count.
trying to do really loud, obnoxious shit, hoping for a
No.
laugh, and it doesn't happen. Sure, it
There's a
counts
big
because you're
difference.
failing at getting
No.
laughs.
The difference between being a class clown and being a comedian,
I don't
the
even know if I'd call
precipice
this.
of getting a gig to do comedy
I don't
means
even.
you have to
Well,
be
you're
pretty
still
funny.
using the word comedy, which like I don't even know if this qualifies. Like, what skill is there in comedic timing here? There is no timing. It's just Tom Green doing a bunch of really disgusting, provocative shit
I
just to
think
get a
you
reaction.
don't.
There
I
is
just
no
think
comedic timing. There is no joke. It's just him
I
doing
guarantee if you
random
turned
shit.
a random moment of this film on for any of your roommates, they would laugh at it. I don't even know them. I don't know their names. I've never met them, never talked to them. I guarantee you'll get a laugh.
Well, a couple of them were laughing at Vacations, so yeah, probably.
Yeah, Vacation is definitely a worser movie than this is.
Oh no, no, not at all.
At, at least this is an original film. It might not be great. It might not be something that you gotta buy for $1 because it isn't. But it is funny. It has its moment. You got to remember that this is basically the pre-internet days. This is
Uh-huh.
2001. You couldn't go on YouTube and watch animals fucking. You couldn't watch random shit. Like this film is basically a cartoon come to life. It gets that right.
I would say that, the one moment where I smiled a little bit was that cartoon segment near the end, where that did actually seem to fit. That was something that's kind of in line with stuff that you see on Adult Swim today. Like that
Yeah.
I can say like at least works. That brought me up a little bit. If this was a cartoon, that would work, but it's not a cartoon.
This is like a series of YouTube clips that are strung together very loosely with a narrative bridge to try to make you keep paying attention. Like I think it has a great couple of gags. And it's fun to see Rip Torn in a role like this. Like, can you think of another film where you see a bare ass Rip Torn smacking his ass while Eric B. and Rakim's microphone fiend play in the background?
No,
I
I
can't.
cannot for good reason, because what good movie
What?
is there where he does that? I mean, this is an embarrassment, man.
It's one of the
Seriously,
best rap
where
songs ever made.
as far as comedy, like just it's just loud noises. It really is. Like there
For
is
some
no
of it,
joke.
but I
It's
think
just screaming and
there's
yelling for a majority of it.
I think like when I, kind of amped this up and I said if you didn't like Kingpin, you probably wouldn't like this. Like I think that's a fair assumption. Like it is very similar comedy. It's just the heartfelt moments in Kingpin are
I
more
think,
realized. This
yeah.
is even when it's trying to be serious, it's like, well, it's Tom Green and he's, I can't really take it this seriously. I haven't seen The Room yet. I'm sure I will in the near future, but I have a feeling like whereas the
That's
joke
worse
there
than
is,
this, yeah.
yeah, that movie is just really fucking horribly bad and you have to laugh at this. Whereas this is actually like, he's trying to make you laugh and I do even still. And
Well,
maybe it's just because I'm the target demographic and I watched his show and I enjoyed his commentary, was that 15 years ago now, that I still got a kick out of it tonight.
you
I
know,
really enjoyed my
yeah.
rewatch.
I mean, the main difference between this and The Room is that The Room, that's a movie that you laugh at. You don't laugh at, you laugh at what the product ended up being
Yeah.
because it's not like, that was the movie that he intended to make, no matter how strange what Tommy Wiseau says, how he appears in his interview. This
Hmm.
is a movie that is trying to be funny, that is expecting me to laugh at a joke when it wants me to. Now, maybe if I was 13, sure, I would laugh at this, but I'm not fucking 13
Well, I'm
anymore.
still 13 where it counts. Like my sense of comedy hasn't changed that much more. I mean, like, yeah, I guess I have a longer attention span. But I mentioned this the other week. Like, this is like I think the first movie I ever snuck into. We saw this in theaters and I enjoyed the shit out of it. And then when it was on pay-per-view, we, paid for it and then we, recorded on a VHS tape and we watched that shit till it died. Like, I don't know how many times I've seen this film. Maybe not in its entirety, but definitely in segments. Like I would say this is probably like the sixth or seventh time I've seen it today. And like I said, maybe it's just because it's nostalgia, but if I wanted to see a horse cock, I'm not saying I want to, but if I had wanted to back then, I wouldn't have known how to do it. And this movie, did it for me. And there's just something cool about that. There's like some skateboarding that happens, and it's like just the opening alone, that whole like mall slash train station or not train station, bus station segment. It's like
Which is
you're kind
fine.
it's
Yeah,
like
I
a real
mean,
life Tony Hawk video game for a minute there. Like pretty cool.
I think in a way it's just I don't know. There's a ton of shit that uh God, I don't know. I stopped taking notes after Horsecock just cuz like I knew I would be suffering through this. I don't know. There's what sausage fingers, there's
And it's Daddy, would you like some sausage?
yeah.
Everyone that's listening to this, go YouTube. Just type in Daddy, would you like some sausage on YouTube. Great 15 seconds of your life. I really like the cast in this is interesting. We already said Rip Torn, obviously Tom Green. We got Anthony Michael Hall, Eddie K. Thomas, what's her name from Airplane, the stewardess. Shaq makes a cameo.
The biggest waste, though, like for me in this is Harlan Williams. Like, if you're gonna have a really wacky and zany, just out there comedian show up in a movie like this, which is
And he's
supposed to
like
be insane,
he's the serious man.
you just give him nothing to do. Like, why?
He
Why?
busts his knee open.
That's another thing. Opportunity wasted. And why the fuck do you? But like,
Rip Torn kicks his
I
ass.
am not in the habit of like criticizing movies for like just calling them mean spirited, but I mean this movie just breaks his leg and just has the bone sticking out for no reason. Like a baby is
Well,
swung by the
okay.
umbilical cord who is
What about
seemingly
this?
dead at that moment for no
You didn't.
reason.
Did you take notes on this?
The
That this
fucking
film,
kid, like, it's
oh, the
just,
pratfall kid, yeah,
who
that
just
kid's kind
keeps
of
fall
weird.
like, yeah, it's just it's. This is like
That kid's never.
this
I
is an
never thought the
example
kid
of
was
how to
funny.
not do physical comedy. Like,
Yeah, the kid's bad at comedy. I'm sure he's out of the
no,
game.
the
by
whole movie's bad at physical comedy. It's just a perfect example of what not to do. There is no comedic timing whatsoever. It's just, oh,
give it
here's
this.
something that happens. Laugh, audience.
This
Laugh.
film predicted The Revenant. Like Tom
Oh
Green
my
totally
God.
does Leo in that moment where he cuts the deer open and goes into his skin. 100%.
I
Like
wonder if
if
Inarritu
Leo
was just
deserved the
watching
Oscar,
like Freddy got fingered on the fox lot and was like,
yes.
I think he's onto something there.
He's like, we can one up this. We can do it with a better budget, guys. What if Tom Green was naked? What would that look like? Leo,
Oh
do
God,
it.
thank God that didn't happen.
Could have happened. It would have. It could have been special. I really like the soundtrack here. Like, it has a pretty good, like, lots of good punk stuff with some like, Iggy Pop and some like adolescents, and then you got some like Public Image Limited, but then there's also like When a Man Loves a Woman and some random things and like cartoon songs. I think it's really fun. I think everyone involved making this movie had a good time. Did you watch the outtakes? Not the outtakes, but
No, no,
the blooper reel during the
I
credits?
shut it off right away. Like I just couldn't stand through it anymore. I was really I'm even now, like if it isn't clear already, I hate this movie so much. Like I just that's my rating at the end of the day. It's not buy this for a dollar, it's fuck this movie. And I try to be even the stuff that I hate, like I have never bashed on a movie while we've been on here like really hard. I usually try to be kind and think of some positive of like at least who it's for. Here I just don't know. And I'm just seeing like some strange stuff on Wikipedia. Apparently Chris Rock considers this one of like the 10 best comedies of all
Hey,
time. Yeah,
that's praise.
I mean that's a pretty good endorsement,
But
but
I don't love this movie. I know it's not good. It's just there's something about it, and I think it's past nostalgia that I think it's a funny flick. Like I think it's just comedy. Like there isn't like you might have
no,
a
it's
problem
not.
with the
It's just
timing or
screaming
whatever.
and yelling. There is no
That's
joke.
not true.
It's just
Like
throwing shit. Like
no,
it's
like, I
literally
think that whole sequence at the dinner with the fact that you got well, it's only two couples that matter. Like the kid and his dad can go fuck off. But the dramatic irony in the situation and how it plays out and with the cops getting involved and breaking the violin, I think that's a hilarious scene. Like I just think it's really the okay, look, we haven't talked about this yet, but this film is basically, the Hollywood dream with a shock jock package. Like this is, A Star Is Born or Dream Girls, or not Dream. Oh yeah, Dream Girls too. I was gonna say Showgirls. The whole
Valley of
got
the Dolls and all
nothing.
that.
Yeah, you want to go to Hollywood or New York. You want to become famous. You want to get money. You want to make something of yourself. That's this movie, and it's funny that Tom Green made it, and he made it about his dad being such a character that he gets a greenlit, comedy like an animated show starring his dad basically. And where that goes in this film, like when he gets the $1 million, like what he does with that is so fucking stupid that I think it's funny. Like it's almost endearing. That whole sequence with first off, his love interest in this film, his name is Betty, and she's in a wheelchair,
And she
and their
loves the
sex.
cock, which for some
Yeah.
reason he likes to refuse. He wants to refuse that.
Cause he's a gentleman. He goes out and he gets this helicopter and he rents it to impress her and he buys $150,000 in jewels for her. And she says, "Look, Gordy, if you were poor, I'd still just want to suck your cock." That's real love. That I wish I had that. Like Tom Green too.
You
Like
know that we're a couple days removed from April Fool's Day, right?
no, I'm serious. Like I think this is a good movie. Like it's not. It's Batman versus Superman is a worser movie than this.
Oh God, no!
Yes!
Wow, no.
You have to. Okay, look. You sit
Batman
through.
versus Superman is funnier than this. That's for sure.
No, you
Easily.
sit through a fucking hour of boredom till a movie even starts. I'm losing my shit watching this before it even gets boring.
I was so brain dead 40 minutes into it, I had to turn it off just to recover. This is so fucking brain numbingly stupid that there is
It's
no laugh being triggered. It's just a
It's
lobotomy
Tom
slowly
Green.
happening. By the way, the movie's called Freddy Got Fingered. That's like that's a subplot of this movie that has no resolution whatsoever. Like
Doesn't he-
this movie doesn't know what the fuck it's doing. It's just
totally
throwing
knows.
random shit against the wall,
It's
being as
supposed to be
loud as
random
it can
shit.
be to fucking make you laugh, and it does not make me laugh. I'm sorry.
This isn't cinema, okay? This is a movie.
No, but it's bad comedy. I'm looking at it as comedy, and it just doesn't. There is no comedic timing whatsoever. There
One
is
of your
no good
funny-
setup.
One of your favorite movies is Funny People, which isn't a comedy.
It's a drama. Yeah.
It's made by a comedic director. It stars Adam Sandler and fucking not Evan Goldberg and Joe. I can't even think of the name right now. Seth.
Seth
Seth-
Rogen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like,
what, are they bound by one genre? Do they have to do
No,
the
they're not
same
bound
thing
by a
every
genre,
time?
but
That's
when-
like saying, "Hey, Bill Murray, you can't do a
when
drama
a
every once in a while. You got to
comedy
be funny all
writer
the time."
directs a film, and all of his films have been comedies, and he gets two big comedians to star in it, and you call the movie Funny People.
Uh-huh.
You get a whole bunch of cameos from comedians.
I don't see
and
what
it's
you're
about
getting at here.
stand-up, and when you make that movie, and it's
And it's
Very
not what
serious.
people expect. That doesn't mean that the movie's bad. The movie is what it is at the end of the day. I'm judging this movie based on what it is, and what it is not funny.
That's
It just does it doesn't have any jokes in it. It just throws shit against the wall, tries to be as loud as possible to get a reaction, and
I
that's
think Buster Keaton would like this movie.
I yeah, yeah.
I
I
seriously do.
really I don't whatever.
Like even though
I think
his
Buster
comedy
Keaton's
was
done
in the
way better
silent era.
physical gags. I don't know. He might give Tom Green a pat on the back or something
I think
awkwardly. I
he
don't
would
know.
like if he was. He might have been alive when this came out, but if he was young, like say this movie came out when he was, in his heyday, I think he would enjoy it. There's something about this. There's just some kind of it tickles my funny bone, and the people that were stepping in during my screening, mind you. Like I wasn't alone on this. They were like, and they were shaking their head, going, "This is so fucking stupid. Why am I laughing?" But they were laughing anyway. Like it's just one of those things. I'm not talking like Vine stars where you watch it and you're like, "Oh, I gotta watch this like 1,000 times till I'm laughing at." Damn, Daniel. Like no, like it's just first time go stupid comedy, like as stupid as it gets. And like you said, it's brain numbing stupid. Like throw it at the wall. There's no plot. There's
Hmm.
nothing written here. And I'm okay with that because sometimes you want that kind of movie. You had a horrible day at work. You want to take your shoes off, drink a beer, and just have a good time. And I think this movie accomplishes that. And I'm pretty sure that's what everyone involved was trying to make. They weren't trying to make an award winner, they weren't trying to make a lot of money. They were just targeting their niche. You like my talk show? You like my content? I'm gonna make a movie. Go watch it. You're gonna enjoy it,
Well,
and
see,
that's what it is.
here's the thing: is that when you stumble upon like something stupid on YouTube, it's usually some accident that's been captured in the moment where they're not trying to be funny and they're not planning on it, and you're just kind of laughing at the ridiculousness of it. I mean, that's just one of those things that can get through your shitty day. When you see someone like just trying to create something so stupid on purpose just to get a certain reaction, like it just I don't it doesn't work. I mean, for the sake of comedy, the laugh feels disingenuous to me too. I mean,
You need to watch some more YouTube videos because there's millions of people on there that are trying to make content to make you laugh, and it's horrible.
yeah, yeah,
And
I skip that stuff. That stuff doesn't get many
that's what
views.
I'm saying. You should watch some of that. Like I'm almost in disbelief that you
How much of
didn't
that
get a
stuff gets
chuckle.
views? I
I'm not saying it gets views.
I
I'm
got a
saying there are
light
people
smile, a light
that are
smile. That was the
genuinely.
most.
I'm saying there's people genuinely out there, YouTubers, Vines. Well, they're not Vine stars, but Viners, Twitterers. Okay, there's people out there on social media that are trying to be funny, and it doesn't matter that they don't have views. The reason they don't have views is probably because they're not funny. And this film, it was hated by critics. It has like a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, I believe,
Hmm.
and I almost can't
Roger
believe
Ebert
it.
said that this wasn't even worth comparing to barrels at the bottom of the barrel.
That's a good quote. I like
That
that.
is a good quote. It's very fitting.
But then again, if you were Roger Ebert and your job is to get paid to give your opinion on movies, and he was basically forced to watch this, he obviously didn't watch Tom Green, way too old for that. How do you think he would respond? Like he had to have hated it.
Well,
Like there's no doubt
he
about
wrote a
that.
review about how much he hated it, how it's one of
Of
his most
course,
hated films ever. I mean, this,
because it was his job to see this film.
if this movie is trying to piss people off, then sure, it succeeds. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm giving it half a star. And
I'm okay with that.
I think the movie's okay with that too. It's the rating that I think it's going for and the rating that it probably deserves. I mean, and at the end of the day, I won't watch it again. But in this movie's fairness, like yes, I am not into broad humor really, but then again, I don't think this does it well. At the same time, and this is where I could sound potentially offensive, and I'm not trying to be, but this movie is made by a Canadian. Like,
Yeah.
have you seen just Canadian comedy to me? Like, can be really weird. I mean, have you even seen their PSAs? Like, they're
No.
fucking weirdly mean spirited and fucked up, just over just stuff in general. I don't know, man. Canada's taste,
I wouldn't
it's not
consider.
my
I mean,
thing.
Tom Green is from Canada,
I
yes,
know
but
that's what I'm
he got
saying.
famous in America. Like I think he's considered. It's one of those things where it's like you were born in China, so you're a Chinese musician. It's like no, I'm white and my family was there because of the military. Like I think it's one of those things. Like he's famous because MTV. Well, after that he went back to Much Music, which is a Canadian company, but
What
I
I'm
don't know
saying
what he
is
does
like
now.
those sensibilities come from that origin right there. I mean, it's the same thing
No,
with
I don't
Harlan
think that's
Williams. Like his
the comedy
style comes
here.
from probably where he comes from.
No, I don't think the comedy here is I don't think I wouldn't call this a Canadian
I
movie.
wouldn't
Like
either. I'm just saying it is
this is
made
a
by a Canadian.
this is a stupid American comedy. Like that this is what it is. Like this like when they're in the molested like hideout or whatever, the kids are watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on the TV.
Hmm.
And then it cuts to Tom Green working in Submarine Supreme and Leave It to Beavers on his TV. It's not an effective joke, but I think it's a pretty funny jump cut. Like to go from people that have had a fucked up life watching something grotesque to this guy that has an okay life that can't figure it out watching the wholesome American like sitcom. This is weird. And like he does you can tell he doesn't take this seriously because when the last things you see in this flick before the kid hits the propellers on the plane and almost dies or whatever is a sign someone holds up when they come back from their deer hunter like whatchamacallit hostage crisis, and there's a sign that clearly says when the fuck is this movie going to end. And I got a kick out of that because it's right when the movie starts to drag. You're like, yeah, when the fuck is this movie going to end?
That's just that just makes me go fuck this movie, man. Really, just I've asked you something along these lines before. Like, what's worse? Like something like the Star Wars Holiday Special that is completely aimless, that they have no idea what they're doing, and naturally ends up being terrible. But it's kind of constantly amazing how terrible and uneven and how it
No, it
doesn't add
isn't.
up. How
No.
that is. Is it like that or something like this where they know exactly
That.
what they're doing, and yet,
Definitely
but
that.
yet,
When you make something with a vision, when you
hmm
got the script and you got the money and you made it, and you're a certain comedian and you're able to translate your comedy to the silver screen effectively, even if it's not for everyone, that's an accomplishment. When you
sure. The thing
use
is,
a blockbuster movie, the biggest movie of all time, and push out a holiday special a year after its release just to capitalize on the characters and name, and it's a piece of shit with big name talent involved, and it's been never shown again, and George Lucas boycotted it, and Disney won't show it. It's never been on home video. When it's a literal shit stain on the name, that is embarrassing. That's why it is a skid mark of cinema.
and
That's
that's
why
it's
you
far
can't
more
find it
amazing that
anywhere.
that exists. Whereas something like this, they
No,
made
it's not
exactly what they
amazing.
went for. They did what they wanted, and it's like, okay, they did that. Now I can choose to ignore that. I mean, Star Wars, it's like, how does that happen? The story
It
behind,
happens because that's what happens when you got money and you want to make more.
yeah, but I mean, a
It happens all the
documentary
time.
or a feature film on how that thing got made would be far more interesting. Like even The Room, like that thing is so like insanely bad that they're making a movie about how that movie got made. Here it's just like, okay, well they made the movie that they wanted. Yeah, at the end of the day, that's fine. I hated it, but it's far less interesting to me.
The creamer game that Betty plays in this film, anytime I'm somewhere and I got to kill time and there's creamers available, I play it. I learned it from this movie. That's something that I take away from this film. I've taught it to other people and
Well,
they
you've
enjoy the
actually
game.
got one
And
thing out of it, yeah.
I never go, oh, by the way, I learned this from Freddy Got Finger. You're welcome. Thank Tom Green. Like, no, like it's something that I do and it's something I enjoy. And I probably would have never tried if I had never seen this. And if a filmmaker's goal is to affect someone in a certain way, Tom Green 100% succeeded in just that action alone. Even if it wasn't his idea, maybe Betty made it up on the scene. Who knows? It's just I like this movie, and apparently I think Chris Rock does. I think there's enough people out there that it probably already is a cult film, to be
It
honest. I
is.
think
No, there
that
is a cult behind it, that's for sure.
like if there was a New Beverly screening of this, I think the crowd would go fucking ape shit. Like it would be amazing. It's one of those movies that it isn't good. I love Biodome. That movie's not good. I know it's not good, but I love that movie way more than I like this one because that's actually a good movie. We'll get to that one later episodes
Mm.
of this show. But I'm okay with that, Like everyone, it's not even a guilty pleasure. Just everyone has bad taste for certain things, whether that be some brain dead song that you like doing karaoke to, or maybe line dancing to Footloose, whatever it is, like everyone has a certain thing. Like it is theirs, their tacky t-shirt or their weird hairstyle, whatever. And this is mine. This film is one of mine. And I can't buy it for $1. But if it literally was in the bargain bin for $1 at a 7-Eleven, hell yes, I would buy it.
I can respect that because I know, yeah, taste is subjective, and it's. I mean, it's not like this is the worst thing in the world, but if there was a screening at the New Beverly, then good. I know one corner of the world that I would absolutely want to stay away from for those 2 hours. I, yeah, I'd easily rewatch the holiday special over this. I'd rewatch Fantastic Four over this. I think you're fucking crazy. Batman versus Superman is way, way better than this.
If it was cut better, if it wasn't a chore to sit through, if I enjoyed any of it before we got to like the hour and 20-minute mark, maybe. I'm gonna be rewatching that when the director's cut, which they pimped out before it's even released, was announced. So I'll give my critique again. But as of right now, I've seen this, like I said, at least 6 or 7 times. You would have to force me to go back to the theater to see Batman again.
I am trying to think of obnoxious comedies that I liked back in the day, but even then, I don't think Big Fat Liar is any worse than
I don't
this
see
or
two
anything
LeBarons.
like that.
I don't see 2 LeBarons. Where's your job, Freddy? I saw Big Fat Liar in theater too. Just saying.
Yeah, I did too. Big Fat Liar is great. It's still good.
No, that's not a great movie. Well,
It's a great kids movie.
One of the plot points of that film is that Frankie Muniz and Amanda Bynes turned what's his name, Skin Blue.
Yeah, that was the main pitch for that movie. Like that was how they pitched it in the TV spots.
That's horrible. Like that's a bad physical comedy. The fact that they made his
Paul
hair
Giamatti
orange
blue
too.
and orange. Come on.
Yeah, they made his hair orange.
That is perfect casting right there. If you want to have someone lose their shit on camera and play it straight, not be like some obnoxious little piece of shit trying so hard to get you to laugh. Like that I mean, that's why that works. Paul Giamatti, like he gets angry, but he plays it straight for the most part.
I don't know about that. I do know that I rewatched Big Fat Liar like less than 6 years ago, and it wasn't that good. It's not a bad movie. It's just the concept behind it's pretty fucking far-fetched.
It's on HBO Go. Rewatch it.
Some random fucking kid would be able to flip a Hollywood exec's like life around.
It's wish fulfillment when you're a kid. I mean, come on.
This is wish fulfillment as like a teenager.
No, this is wish. How?
He draws things.
Okay, so
his
this
life
is wish
is such
fulfillment as a
shithole.
teenager. You're relating to a 28-year-old, whereas I mean, Big Fat Liar. That's when you're a kid. You're relating to another kid. I don't know. I guess child relating to man-child. That's one thing.
Just the promise of being able to make it in Hollywood. I think there's a lot of. They shot this fucking film partially in Pakistan. Okay, like that's cool enough. Okay. Like,
is that actually Pakistan, or is that like New Mexico or somewhere in the desert?
I'm pretty sure they actually shot some of this in Africa. I could double check right now.
It's kind of a waste of money.
No, it's not.
Big time.
Production value. They had to get a real elephant. That elephant jizz wasn't fake, okay? Thanks for listening. We hope it's been a pleasure. If you like this show and you want to hear more of our wonderful voices on a weekly basis, check out 2 Cents. I'll recap what's happened in film, TV, and tech news.
We're also on the titular Dollar Review Show, a spoiler-free critique of new releases or anything we've discovered on our own, whether that be TV, music, etc.
You can find all of our content at dollarreviews.net. Follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook at Dollar Reviews.
We're available on iTunes, YouTube, TuneIn, Stitcher, and constantly looking to expand to other platforms.
If you listen somewhere we're currently not available, you'd like to contribute some talking points, send a Debt to Cinema request, or even if you just want to laugh at us, you can do so by reaching out to us on social media or send an email to brian@dollarreviews.net.
Or you can email me as well, steve@dollarreviews.net.
You can follow me personally on Twitter at Brian Gillis, that's BRYONGILLIS, and now you know how to spell the email too, and also under the same name on the lovely site Letterboxd, which acts as my film diary, where I rate films I'm watching, write the occasional review, and even sometimes compile lists.
You can also find me on Twitter at S_MTX, and also follow my film diary at Letterboxd under the same name, where I log everything I watch, and sometimes write brief reviews.
That's it for this week. Until next time, keep the change.